And 3, 2, we are live. Jack, what is going on today?
Nothing, man. We are getting absolutely dumped on with snow right now. Record
The
break.
snow, that's good for the skiing, though.
Oh, it's great. My whole family's coming out this weekend. We're staying in Park City all weekend, so this is perfect time. As long as they can get out here with the flights and stuff, we should be good. Yeah, but we are getting pounded with snow right now. It's unreal. I like it.
Now,
Others probably don't.
is it bad weather with the snow, or is it just coming down lightly?
No.
Like, you got wind and everything?
The snow's coming down a little bit sideways, so I guess you could say that it's coming down with some wind, but it's really wet snow too because it's only like 32 degrees, so it's just barely freezing. So it's wet and heavy. But overall, I'm doing great. I'm having a good week. I played golf yesterday, actually. Snowstorm today, golf the day before. So that's pretty nice.
Little global warming, little bit of climate change. Say it's not real.
I know. Some days you think it's real. The other days you think it's a myth. It's really up in the air. We're not 100% sure on that. But we're not a science podcast, so we don't know for sure. We don't know for sure.
Could be.
We probably could be. So
took a couple science classes back in the day.
Me too. You're taking one right now. What do you mean?
Taking one right now. I'm taking 2 right now, actually.
Yeah.
It could be a science podcast.
Our science would be so off, it wouldn't even be funny.
No, it wouldn't be funny.
I've taken physics 3, and even if you tested me on physics stuff, it would probably be embarrassing.
Speaking of science, do you see that like chemical spill in Ohio?
Yeah.
Do you see this thing?
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
That's fucked. Sorry, that bad language, but that is fucked up.
Oh, I know. It's so terrible. The people are gonna have long-term effects from that for sure, or short-term effects.
They're showing like fish. I saw a video the other day of people are at this river, and the river just looks like fine, like nothing really going on. And they threw a log in the river, and from the bottom of the river comes like oil and like rainbow gloss.
Yeah, right.
They were like, all this stuff is just sitting in the water.
Dude, like, how pissed would you be if you lived there? What do you do though? What do you do?
You leave. I'd leave.
I would leave too.
Get in the car. I'd leave. I saw a funny video by Bill Burr like a while back.
One of the best comedians of all time. He's so funny. So funny.
He was talking about like the vaccines, and he was like, we really don't know like the long-term effects of this stuff. He's like, who knows? Like 25 years down the line, you could like walk outside, look at your neighbor who's got a third eye, and he's like, yeah, Pfizer. Talk to me.
He points to
the third eye.
J&J gave me 12 fingers instead of 10.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe you never know with that stuff, but I don't know.
You sound like you've been in Ohio. What's going on with you over there? You sound like you drank out of the river.
I'm fighting it, man. I'm sick. I don't know what it is. I went to the doctor. I thought it was an ear infection. They fixed my ears, but I don't know, man. You talk about good performances. Michael Jordan's flu game.
Yep.
Paul Pierce with the bat. Like, didn't he hurt his knee or so he came back in a game? Paul Correa. This is my flu pod. I'm trying to perform.
And I'm trying to perform. I think you also had a flu game yourself too last night.
Little men's league performance last night. I played pretty good given the sickness, but I was trying to get the blood moving. I did not put anybody in danger in terms of my health.
You wore a mask under your cage.
I did not wear a mask, but it's just a working crew. So I'm not worried. Trying to do my part, staying away from people. But yeah, I'm battling a cold. So if you hear my sniffles throughout the pod, that is on me. 100% that is on me.
So you know how we talked last night and you called me after your game, you're like, I just had flu game, like the flu game, like whatever, I put up 5 points and whatever. And I told you I was going to have a game myself. Right. Yeah. So I walk out the door and our captain texts me, where are you at? And I was like, isn't the game at 8:30? It's like, no, it's at 8. I took 2 steps out of the door and turned around and put my bag back in the room.
No.
And it was 8 o'clock when I walked out the door. I was like, whatever.
Dude, I got to read you this message. So we had a game tonight.
Move your phone out of the camera. Move your phone out.
Oh, shit. We had a playoff game tonight. We won. We're moving on to the championship.
Your coach texted you. He's like, I'm so proud of you and like all the work you put in this season.
This is the message I send to our group. This is the message I send to our men's league group chat. It's not always pretty. You know what they say. Sometimes you got to slay some dragons to get to the princess. Our performance tonight was reminiscent of the 2021 Lightning Stanley Cup victory. Some tough blown leads early, but in the end, we hoisted Lord Stanley. We're on our way to greatness in this room. We found a way to win tonight. I love the mood in the locker room after. Ice bags, not satisfied. We look like the 80s Oilers. Proud of this group.
Wow, how well do you know these guys?
I don't know them that well. They love them. They love the message. One guy writes back, "Job's not finished."
They have a separate message group without you. They're absolutely ripping you from last year's team.
Absolutely, they are. They absolutely are.
Wow, you put some heart into that message.
Dude, it's a great group of guys. And that is the best part about even hockey, like when you're playing competitively, I think is like it's just a good group of friends.
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily hang out with them outside the rink, but when I do go to the rink, I do really enjoy going there and seeing the guys and stuff. It's fun. It's really fun.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I want to get into real quick. So I had the privilege over the weekend to go to the NBA All-Star Skills Competition. My aunt, I won't get into it, but she hooked me up with a ticket to the game, and they have an event there. So I was up in the event with like a bunch of, we'll just say, big wigs, and it was pretty cool. I was up in like the 300 level, but I could see everything perfectly. It was really cool.
So all I saw, right? I forgot that you were going. Like I don't know. You had told me a while back, and then I forgot.
Yeah.
So we're in between periods at our game, and we were I just checked my phone real quick. I go on to Snapchat.
Yeah.
And I saw your story, and all I see is Jack crushing a nice plate of jumbo shrimp, a little bit of cocktail sauce in the game in front of him, and I was like, man, what a life!
It was unreal. I had some nigiri sushi up there. I crushed so nigiri sushi, for people that don't know, nigiri is just the rice. They ball up the rice and then they lay the fish over the top. So there's no like extra things in the roll. It's not rolled up. I probably had, out of those pieces, 25 of those. I was
25 pieces.
Yeah, I was crushing them up there.
Like Wuhan, what was that place we used to go to? Wuhan Walk. Hunan Walk.
Is that what it's called in Springfield?
I hope they're still there. Shout out Hunan Walk. They used to have unlimited
fire.
I think, did we talk about this on the pod?
No, we talked about when we went to sushi the other time in Florida.
Oh, okay. Well, we went to a better sushi place in Springfield. Me and Jack used to. It's called Hunan Walk, unlimited sushi, and
all you can eat, baby.
Our team was like the only business they ever got. It's like a small shack.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I saw like a rat run across the.
It was like family. It was family owned. They were great people. They made a volcano roll with some cream cheese.
It was so good. They always have like the kids at the Chinese restaurants. They always have the kids like doing homework on like one of the booths, or like playing with like their toys, because it's like great. Family run every time.
Family run, greatest spot. If anybody's in Illinois listening, Hunan Walk, you gotta go.
Not just Illinois, because people are gonna think it's like Chicago area. We're talking Springfield, Illinois. This is its own state almost.
Wait, so I got more questions about the basketball game. Did you watch a lot of it? Was there excess stuff? Like I remember one year they had like TikTokers there, like doing TikTok stuff. Was it enjoyable? Did you get to watch the dunk contest?
Well, yeah. So like what would happen pretty much is like they would do an event, and then in between it'd be like 30 minutes in between events. So then when that was going on, I wouldn't pay attention to what they were doing on the court or anything. And then I would watch the event. So I got there late actually. So I only saw, I think there might be 3 or 4 events, but I only saw the 3-point contest and dunk contest, which is all I really care for anyway. So
fair.
Yeah, but I watched them. Like I watched
Who won them?
Damian Lillard won the 3-point contest. Like Steph Curry's hurt.
Dame time.
Yeah, he's the man. And then Klay Thompson, he wasn't in it. And then Mac McClung, he won the dunk contest. He's not even technically on an NBA team. He's the first guy from the G League to win the dunk contest. So he like 4 days before, he's been in the G League, I believe, and then 4 days before the All-Star game, he signed a 2-way deal with the 76ers. So I don't even think he's played a game for them, but he won the dunk contest as a G League guy.
Was he worthy of winning? Like,
Oh
was his
yeah,
dunks
dude,
cool?
so sick. I don't know if you've ever seen him in high school. He's like he's not tall, but he's not short. He's like a white kid, and
Okay.
he has like these mixtapes from high school where he was throwing it down through the legs, like behind the back and stuff. It was so sick. And then yeah, he was in the dunk contest and he was throwing it down. He definitely deserved to win. It was sick.
I remember like probably I don't know what dunk contest it was. It was Aaron Gordon versus
Oh yeah, against
what was that
Zach
guy's name? I
Levine.
don't.
Zach
Yeah,
Levine.
Zach
Oh,
Levine.
that was
I
easily the
remember that was
best.
the
Yeah,
best dunk contest of all time.
that was
Just
unreal.
doing some crazy stuff.
Yeah, that was so cool.
Would you let somebody dunk over you? Like if you held the ball above your head?
One of those guys. Yeah,
Yeah.
one of those guys. Yeah, but I wouldn't let
What
you.
I could do it.
No shit, dude. I really don't even think you could get over like my chest. There's no way.
No, I think honestly my vertical was like in college. We used to test it.
Yeah.
Like the highest I ever got over like 4 years was like a 31. Not very
Really?
good.
I don't even. I
No.
used to test mine all the time too, and I don't even remember my numbers now. I'm disappointed I don't. What do you? How long do you think it would take you to train to be able to dunk? Like that's all you do. Like in terms of training, like that's your goal.
2 months.
2 months?
Yeah.
You think?
You think I'm putting my heart and soul
Yeah.
into learning how to dunk? 2 months.
That's all you're doing. 2 months.
Maybe less.
I think
Maybe
I
less.
think 2 months is fair, especially with the height. Like you got the height for it. So
I got the height. I don't know if I
you don't
have.
have the
I'm worried
hog.
about the landing. I'm worried about the landing.
Are you?
Like I'm gonna roll an ankle or something.
Ooh, those ankles are a little weak. You got some
Yeah.
weak ankle.
Weak ass ankle.
Weak ankle, boy.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about this. So the dunk contest was good. The 3-point contest was good.
Yeah, they were both good. They were both fun to watch, but like not like I think they do a better job like showing it on TV, being more exciting. One, because like the camera angles are really good, but like it was fun to go to, fun to see them do the events, but it wasn't like super exciting, but it's still cool to go to. And like,
And who won the game? Who won the game?
oh, I have no clue. I didn't go to the game. That's the
It
next
was
night.
Giannis versus LeBron, right? Does that sound right?
Yeah, that's right.
And they do a draft. They do a player draft.
They did it right before the game too, which I thought was kind of
It's
odd.
weird.
Yeah, NBA just does weird shit. Some of their rules, their refs suck. They might have the worst refs out of any national league in the United States.
But they're getting a lot of beef for like the what's it called? Player management, where they like rest management, right? Where they take like
right.
I know that's like a big thing right now. I'm not a huge fan of that. I see a lot of people speaking up about how if you've saved up money as a family and I bought Laker tickets and LeBron's not playing because he's like sitting out.
Yeah.
I personally, I'm kind of on the side of like the fan in that situation where like if he's injured, I get it.
Right.
But at the same time, I understand the player too. I mean,
yeah,
these guys put it all on the line just for us to enjoy it. So
yeah,
I don't know. What do you think about that?
I saw a video. I think a couple days ago. Maybe this is where you saw it too. Of a fan like yelling at LeBron. He was in the tunnel and he wasn't playing that night. And a fan was like yelling at LeBron, saying like, "We paid money to see you and you're not playing. Like this is bullshit." And
Oh, I didn't see that.
yeah, and like I see, like you said, I see it from both sides. If I'm 38 years old and I want to take a night off in the NBA because my body probably needs it, I don't really see a problem with that. But at the same time, I mean, he is selling tickets, so it's almost like you expect him to play if he's not hurt.
And you don't see it in other sports, really. You don't see it in hockey.
No, you definitely don't see it in hockey. I'm not too sure about. Well, baseball is just weird in general. They do it, but they play so many games, and it's just.
I mean, I'm very rarely. I think I'm trying to think of a situation where you would see it in hockey. Maybe if you've already clinched playoffs, maybe they'll stop playing the starting goalie, like for like a game or so, or they'll rest a goalie. But
yeah,
I mean, I don't see McDavid taking any games off.
I think too, like with hockey, like I don't know, basketball is probably the same way, but like you get in a rhythm with games and like your feel and stuff. If you don't play a game for a couple of weeks and then you try to hop back out there in playoffs, it could take you a game or two to get back into it, and that's time you don't really have to waste.
Now, what about people will argue hockey's more physical than basketball? How is basketball player not? I may argue that the basketball player, like the pain on the knees and ankles, like that's going to add up. So I don't know. I see both sides.
Right. I do too. But I think, well, hockey's definitely more physical. But yeah, like you said, it might be more physical for the knees and ankles and stuff. But I can't. NHL guys, like your hip flexors, because
Oh,
that's like full out running for
knees.
40 seconds. Yeah. So I don't know. Hockey's just better. But the refs in
Yeah,
the NBA, they tech everyone, and I don't know. It's just, you can't even like yell at yourself or like clap to yourself without getting like a technical foul. It's like, what? Wasn't even looking at you or regarding you at all.
yeah,
They take it too personal.
yeah, yeah. I don't know. That's awesome that you got to go to that. I'm jealous. That's sick.
Yeah, it was really cool. It was cool that it was in Salt Lake City. Kind of helped put Salt Lake, not that it's going to put it on the map, the All-Star game, but it's cool that it's a town that's getting recognition
Yeah.
outside of like, I feel like everyone just knows of Utah for like a specific religion and the Olympics back in '02, Park City.
Yeah, that's right.
So
That's right.
that's all it's really known for right now. But yeah, no, it was really cool and it was super fun to go to. I'm thankful I got to go.
Oh, right on. Right on. Should we get into hockey talk today?
I think we should. So we got one more position to go through here because we covered the wingers, we covered the defensemen. If you guys want to go check those out, wingers was last episode number 7, and defenseman was episode number 6. So if you want to go check those out, I highly encourage you to. They have some golden nuggets in there. That
Oh, yeah.
just
Good nuggets.
good nuggets. A lot of experience between us, giving some knowledge on that. So today we're going to get into centers and their responsibilities, and we're first going to start off with the defensive zone. So I'm going to kick it to you, Fletcher. What do you think a center's responsibility is in the defensive zone?
Yeah, I would say, I think that on a very like blatant comment, like in terms of this is the number one job, like you got to win that draw. Like I think there's nothing better than a center who you're confident you're going to win the draw with. Like I think that when it comes to depth in terms of centers on a line chart, if you're winning 60% plus on your draws, you're in a good spot in terms of being the top 2 centers, like as in number 1, 2. And then if you're really good defensively too, right, that's going to give you a little bit more of a boost. So in the D zone, if I'm winning draws, one, I'm setting my team up for an easy breakout. Got to have a plan going into the breakout. And then 2, if I'm helping out defensively, I think that adds a little bit more depth as well. Now, in terms of winning the draw, I think we could talk about this for a little bit. Prior to the face-off, right, it is the center's responsibility to make sure everybody's on the same page. You could run into so many issues in terms of, okay, I've told the D that we're going to say, let's run a rim. Okay. Like that winger has to know.
Yeah.
Right. And then the other winger needs to know to pick that set, to pick their winger, to give that D time. So I think a really good role of the center is to talk to everybody prior to going in. If you're the home team, I think you put your stick down last.
Depends what zone you're in. I think they changed the rule. I mean, we're both defensemen, so we don't really know for sure.
I took one draw. I took one draw in my career.
Oh, that's
I won it. I snapped it back.
Oh, I wish, dude. I dream.
You know what it was?
Draw.
You know what it was? It was at Canisius. It was a 4-on-4. This was prior to the warning rule.
Yeah.
So like now when somebody jumps early, they put the hand up. You get 2 hands up, you get a penalty.
Yeah.
It was back when they would exchange centers. I think one guy on our team had a bad shoulder, the winger that was out there. So I'm lined up on the wall. The center gets tossed. He's like, I'm not taking this draw. So I went in and snapped it back. Now in the locker room, we had a paper with the face-off percentages.
Yeah.
I jumped to the top of the list because I was 1 for 1. Yeah. I was 100% on the season.
That's unreal. I would love that. I would love to take a draw. One thing I want to add really quick about the centers, because you brought it up and I think you touched on it, but you essentially, as a center, when you're going into the draw, you are the quarterback of your 5 guys, your 6 guys, if you're, with your goalie too. You're the quarterback, so everyone's on the same page. That's your responsibility for the most part, to make sure everyone's on the same page. Also, you cannot go into that draw. You can't go in to take the face-off without making sure everyone on your team is set and in the right position. Because as soon as you go in there, they're going to drop the puck, and now you have a guy who's not ready or not in position, and that's on you. That's your job to check to make sure that everyone on your team is in position before you go into that draw.
Oh, 100%. And I think that as you go into that draw, right, underrated skill of a center is going to be look and see what hand your opposing center is. So if that center is a righty, right, likely he's going to try to win it on his backhand. Now, if he goes into the draw, though, with his hands like this, kind of, like he's probably not going to win it backwards. Like he could be looking to push it forward.
Yeah.
So I think looking at little things like that, right? With what hand is the guy? How are his hands aligned?
Where are their
What
guys?
hands are?
Where are their guys at? Not just your
Yeah,
guys.
yeah. Where are their shooters at? Does it look like there's an opportunity for a one-timer somewhere? Could some guy fan out? I think that's definitely on the center to start to point out prior to the draw.
Yep, I totally agree. And that's even before play even starts for their responsibility.
Right?
Yeah. Like that is number one thing before play even starts.
Absolutely. I would say the second thing now for me at least is I always love playing with a center, right, who's very good at puck support, right? Like usually I'm going to say F1 in terms of like they're at the second layer defensively to where we have a D in the corner and then a center. Like some teams will run a shrink where there's 2D in the corner and the center at the front of the net. It's more probably for advanced teams.
Yeah.
But I would say that for the most part, you have a D in the corner, right? A winger kind of up on the wall and then a center kind of supporting that D. If you're able to communicate to that D, right, up the wall, behind the net, maybe middle when that D has the puck, I think that helps a ton.
Yeah, that was one of my points actually. Is like you almost have to learn how. Well, I guess you're talking about supporting the puck, but what I want to say add to that is like you have to learn how to play like a D man. You have to be in the mindset that you are a D man in your zone. So you have to learn how to defend, use your stick properly, use your body properly, because you and your defenseman most likely are going to be on a 2-on-2 matchup in the corner against two of their guys and then you two. So it's your responsibility that you are going to have to play defense just like a defender would. So what I would recommend is talk to your D-man, work with them in the corners, like, use them to your advantage to learn how to play like them. So when the time does come, you can shut guys down in the corner because as a coach, you're going to, especially in like tight games, you're going to want to put out centers who you can trust that they're going to go win battles in corners, know how to play defense, be on the proper side of the puck, not put themselves on the wall, put themselves in bad spots. You want a center who's going to know how to play correct positionally defensively.
Now, here's a fun fact. Here, as Jack is talking about, right, centers kind of acting as D. Who do you think leads the NHL in block shots as of today?
Block shots.
You're not going to guess it. It is one of the most outstanding people in the NHL right now.
McDavid?
Nope.
I don't know. Give me a team. Actually, then I'm just going to embarrass myself.
You're gonna guess it. The NHL's leader in block shots for forwards, right? You'd think it would be a winger,
right?
Is Austin Matthews
at
71,
really?
71 block shots through 51 games. That's what I was just typing up here. Now, why is he blocking all of those shots? He's blocking all those shots because those NHLD are so good at getting it through the first layer. Now, Matthews is so good positionally, right, that he is likely supporting the D down low, that as the second layer, he's able to now block that shot and go the other way, right? Super frustrating as a D when you get that puck past the first layer and it's blocked by the second layer. Now, why don't you see Austin Matthews, right, sliding around, blocking shots? Because he's in position.
Yep.
Right? As that low forward, right, he's matched their center who's probably at the front of the net where they should be, right, or somewhere in that slot area trying to get to the front of the net. And because of his size and his ability, right, to box guys out, he, as a 60-goal scorer, or 50-goal scorer notoriously, right, is able to have 71 blocked shots so far this year.
Wow, I'm actually stunned by that. I would have
Who else do you think's on that list? Who else do you think's on that list?
Ooh, see,
There's one other one that's shocking.
Oh, center or winger?
Center.
Stamkos?
I think center. Elias Pettersson of the Vancouver Canucks.
Really?
Yep.
Wow.
He's in the top 5 too.
I would be interested to see where these guys are blocking shots from, like where they're eating them. Because it also could be, say, a guy rolling over the top of the circle and that's their guy and they're deflecting it out. Does that count as a block shot if you deflect it with your stick?
I don't know if it does. I don't think it does.
Really? I feel like it should.
Yeah.
I mean, it blocks a block, but...
I mean, it may be. We used to put those as, we'd call them ticks, like stick on puck.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'd be interested to know where they're actually blocking these shots from, like, where they're eating it at. But you're
Now you see,
probably
but
right. No, you're probably 100% right though. It's they get the defensemen get it through the first layer, and now there's that second layer that's he's probably with their guy, and now he's able to eat it.
yeah, so far this season, Elias Pettersson has in 54 games he has 63 blocks.
Wow.
And it's amazing because those are the guys that you see like on the same you see on Pavel Barber and you see on NHL.com, right, scoring these unreal goals.
Yeah.
They're also leading top 10 in forwards, leading the league in blocked shots.
Yeah.
Like that's a complete player.
Yeah, that's the stuff that a lot of people don't focus on too.
Yeah,
Outside of like all the skill and the shots that they have, like these
yeah.
little things make them that much better than everyone else. Also, if think about it, if he doesn't block that shot, if he doesn't have 70 block shots on the year, that's 70 opportunities that he doesn't have now to get the puck because they're going to drop right in front of him and he's probably going to be able to pick it up and go. If he doesn't block those now he has 70 less chances to possibly skate up the
Yeah,
puck.
I mean Bergeron's on the list, Kopitar. I expect those ones.
Yeah.
But I don't expect Matthews, and I definitely don't expect
Pettersson.
the Pettersson at all.
Right, me neither. Okay, so this is one other thing I want to get into about centers in the D zone is you said it kind of like how you have to support the puck, but when you guys have full control over the puck, you as a center, you have to make sure that I'm sure players hear it all the time. You have to be like low and slow. Like you have to be getting your feet through the crease almost so that you are an option for your D-man, but also your winger as well. You can't just blow by because you're in a hurry to get out of the zone. And now if the puck goes to your winger, he has no option, no center option because you're already heading towards the blue line. Now he's got to make a tough diagonal pass up to you through a defenseman, and it just makes it really difficult. So you have to be low and slow and support the puck all over the ice.
I would say like, and you talk about it as you get older in hockey, right? Guys were going to have a lot of success for themselves in terms of how well they're able to hit. Now, as a center, like you need to be able to protect yourself. Like I think I talked about this before on the pod once. Patrick Kane, I don't think has ever had a concussion, right? He's able to play with his head up the whole time. Like as a center, like and as you're swinging, you never want to be looking back at the puck.
No.
Right? If I'm a D and I'm a physical D and I see somebody turn their head, like that's a signal for me to step up. Just as there's signals to close on the PK, just as there's signals to close the gap at the blue line.
Yeah.
Right? If I'm a winger and I'm looking back at the play and I've turned my head, that's a situation for me to step up. If I'm collecting a chip, if I'm slashing through the neutral zone, if I'm slashing through the defensive zone, right, in terms of coming across to get the puck, I need to be equal, if not kind of up a little bit so that I can see the ice, right? If I'm like Jack's saying, if you're way ahead of the play and I'm not low and slow and I do get that pass, right, you got to get your head up quickly, right? You talk about the term like hospital pass, right?
Yeah.
Because you're going to end up in the hospital if somebody hits you hard.
Right. And the thing is too, like I totally agree with that in terms of if you're gonna be that far ahead, you gotta know where you're at. You gotta know where those guys are at. But then once you catch that puck now out there, now you're in no man's land by yourself because you've pretty much blown the zone. And now all your other teammates, your two wingers, most likely your other winger might be slashing, but you're kind of out on an island now because you blew past your winger and your defenseman, and now you're out of the zone and you could potentially be by yourself. So when you're low and slow, you have that support of guys slashing across. Your other winger now can join with you. It just makes it a way easier for you to move the puck if necessary.
Yeah, you talk about really good teams like coming up the ice together, right? I think the center, you're the number one person in leading that charge in terms of you're not going to leading the play, right? You're leading the charge in terms of all the timing is going to rotate around you supporting the puck, right? If I'm all the way up the ice, then my wingers are going to come up the ice, then the D is on an island, right? If I'm all the way behind the play and the D has the puck, right, I can't support anybody when that puck is advanced, right? That puck needs to advance together, right, and simple. Together and simple, and now we move up the ice together.
Yep. Support the puck. I think the biggest thing is support the puck all over the ice.
Absolutely.
So, all right, now Fletcher, you guys should, if you guys are watching on camera, you guys should see Fletcher right now. He's an absolute mess over here.
It's a flu game. It's a flu game.
Oh my God. I can't even,
it's a flu game.
Can't even focus on my thoughts over here.
No, I keep sniffling. I'm sorry for the listeners.
Oh, man.
Sniffling.
A little raspy too.
I know I'm more nasally than I usually am, which is tough to beat.
That is tough to beat. All right, so anywho, we'll move into the neutral zone here. So do you want me to start on this one?
Yeah, I kind of have like a secret, like almost like a secret trick for centers in terms of neutral zone responsibility.
Okay.
So you go first, and then I'll add that in at the end.
Okay. Because so in terms of offensively, it's very similar to your defensive zone, right? You have to be, as you guys gain the puck, usually your D are going to gather it, go D to D, and then look to make a pass from there. You have to be supporting that puck all the time. When you guys are moving the puck around in the neutral zone, you have to be supporting it. So it's kind of similar to the defensive zone. So I won't really get into that. One thing that I think is super helpful as a defenseman with when you have a center out there is when they do a really good job at denying the middle. Whether it's like usually it's their center option as well. Usually, for the most part, there's a lot of interchanges, but usually it's a center on center in the neutral zone, and that guy's swinging. If you can deny them the middle, they really heat that defenseman has three options now because you've denied the middle. He has the up to the winger on the wall, a hinge, or if he dares to throw a cross ice pass, he can throw one. But you've and by you eliminating the middle, it just eliminates so much of like the flow because you're really the only guy that center's swinging. He's really the only guy who has speed for the most part. Like usually the two wingers are pretty stationary in the neutral zone. He's the only guy with speed. So if you can deny that middle, you take away a lot of their speed, and it's easier for your defensemen or your wingers to make plays on the walls. So I think that's a huge thing that centers can really focus on in the neutral zone, and it's an easy thing to do. Like to in terms of matching a guy, it's open ice, and you can follow him, good stick on his stick, and deny the passes.
Yeah, I kind of think of the center when we look at defensively in the neutral zone as similar to the quarterback on the power play, right?
Mm-hmm.
A defenseman is likely the quarterback on a power play if that defenseman's running the point.
Yeah.
A center is likely the quarterback of a forecheck, I think, in the neutral zone. Right? It's your responsibility to make sure that your wingers are on the same page and your D are on the same page in terms of what you guys are doing off of draws, right? Defensively, offensively, and likely sometimes whether you're F1, whether you're F2, you need to be calling out, right? Who's in the right spot, when and where. Now, when we talk about defensive responsibilities for the center in the neutral zone, I would say you almost get to play both positions, right? As a D, as a center, right? Looking at the D, you don't want to get caught outside the dots either, right? And then as a winger, right? You need to support the puck, right? Likely, if that puck is coming up the wall, you've probably moved it to that winger. You need to go now support the puck, right? So if that winger has the puck and he's on an island, you got to get over there and you got to be screaming to him either deep, 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 middle, 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 maybe back if you're looking to regroup, right? It's on you to start to quarterback that defensively and offensively.
Yeah, because I mean, you can see for the most part, you're in the middle of the ice, so you can see a lot of what's happening out there. You can see all their guys for the most part, and you can't see your defenseman probably, but you get a good idea of what's going on in the play.
Yeah, 100%. I think that when I look at really good centers, right, they're always an option in the neutral zone.
Always.
Like it's easy to get lost and it's easy to just stand there with your stick in the air, right? You need to move to create space offensively. So when that puck is moving D to D, right, or that puck is in a quick up situation, if it's going from D to a posted winger, you need to get to that posted winger so that he now has an option. He's not on an island.
Yeah.
Or if that's going D to D, like Jack talked about in the defensive zone, you now need to swing through the middle with your stick on the ice, and you need to be an option.
It needs to be on the ice. That is for sure.
Oh, 100%. Now, should I share my little secret here for the centers?
Give them a little golden nugget.
Here's a golden nugget for centers.
It's like an
right?
Easter egg in a video game. Here's the Easter egg.
It's an Easter egg, yeah. So it works for defense and it works for offense.
Ooh.
Right? Offensively, opening face-off, right? Or any face-off in the neutral zone.
Okay.
Honestly, it could be any face-off all over the ice for a center, but definitely in the neutral zone. High-level teams are able to run face-off plays off of defensive teams that do not go center on center.
Yep.
So, for example, if I snap it back and I'm the offensive center and that puck drops and I win the draw, likely, right, in a perfect world, that defensive center has tied me up, right? Nothing really can come out of that, right? But if that center starts puck watching and I now am able to get lost through a play like a center wing exchange, maybe a low swing, high swing with the other winger, so where now I've gotten lost, right? If you can get lost as a center in the neutral zone off of faceoffs, right? Avoid that pick and then get lost, right? Those D are looking at the wingers. Those wingers are looking at their D, and that center starts puck watching. I'm in for a breakaway. And some of the best faceoff plays I have ever seen is when that center snaps it back, the winger comes to the center comes to the wing and cuts across the blue line.
Yeah.
By the time that the D has started to figure things out, it's already gone D to D, boom, right through the middle, breakaway.
All right. I like that. I like that. So you think you could pull that off yourself?
As
You
a
think you're sneaky?
defenseman,
You think you're
as a
sneaky
defenseman,
enough?
my job was to go D to D. I wasn't the swing guy. But what I'm saying essentially is like,
Yeah.
right, on the offensive side of the puck, get lost as a center. And on the defensive side, right, it's center on center. Don't lose your guy. That's all you got to do.
Yeah.
Don't lose your guy.
I think it is so important in every zone to you have that guy, that center is your responsibility on the draw. 100%.
Center on center.
That's your guy right off the start. Automatically, you can't let him win a draw clean. You have to, if you don't have, you got to tie up with him somehow. You can't just let him win the draw clean. And then once that puck is dropped, that is your guy for the next, depends where you're at, but we'll just say the next 3 to 5 seconds. Like that is your guy to be on until,
100%.
other stuff happens, but that is your guy. Yeah.
And the reason I say it in all zones is because if you're watching offensive zone faceoff plays, maybe it's a walk center or maybe it's a over under where the wingers are coming up. Sometimes those centers are able to get lost in the high slot because that center, the defensive center, has started to puck watch, right? Just think about it, right? If you lose the draw, it's center on center, right?
Yeah.
Don't get beat by that guy, and you guys should be in a good spot in the neutral zone and in the D zone.
Yep. All right, so let's move into here now, the O zone, because I think you just brought up a really good point in terms of being center on center there. I just want to touch on this really quick. In the O zone is like, and like you're talking about getting lost in the O zone as a center, it is very easy to get lost. If that center does not tie you up, those D have a lot of commotion going on in front of them in terms of watching where the draw goes in the first place and then tying up with the wingers and kind of sorting everything out. If you as a center can get lost in the O zone, you can find yourself in a lot of open positions to bury some goals.
Oh, I got a great story for this one, Jack. This is an all-time story.
Were you center and you got lost?
No, I was not. Somebody was center and they got lost. So we were playing, this is my freshman year, we're playing Quinnipiac at home. Quinnipiac was having a good season, as they have recently. They've been very good.
Very good.
It is 1-0, may have been 0-0 at the time. Anyway, we're playing a man-on-man D zone. So, like, you have to find your guy, and if you don't find your guy, it is very blatant that you don't have your guy.
You get picked, and now you're just chasing this guy around.
You're chasing. You're trying to find guys. You're screaming, where is he? Where is he? There he is. I got to get there.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you have some very talented players on the ice. So, it's the second period. It's a long change. I'm playing good, right? I'm like, okay, I'm kind of feeling myself. I'm going to start to anticipate some plays here. Shouldn't have done that. So the puck goes from low to high to low, right? So I follow my guy, right, from corner to the front of the net because he's now gone to the net front.
Yep.
And they, instead of shooting it, they go to the low guy, right?
In the corner?
So in the corner. So not my guy. My guy's in front of the net still.
I know this play.
Okay. So it looks like, and I still swear to this day, that he was going to go behind the net with the puck. And I could have sworn that my guy was going to go on the other side of the net. So what do I do as the dumb freshman defenseman?
You're jumping it behind the net.
I try to jump it. I try to jump it. So by the time that I decide
to leave, that's a tough place to
it's a tough place to leave against some good players.
Yeah.
So I leave the front of the net with my stick fully extended. I'm like, man, I'm definitely picking this off, and I'm joining the rush the other way. He looks off the guy behind the net, snaps it to the center in the slot. In your face, Fletch, minus. And by the time that the puck crosses the goal line, I am just standing behind the net. Now it gets better. Wait, it gets better. The story gets better.
Oh, good.
So I'm like, oh boy, that was on me. We end up tying the game 1-1. This is when there was no shootouts in college hockey.
Yeah.
So we tie the game 1-1.
Dumb.
Now we're in video the next day, and I am like, oh boy, this is going to be on me. It's going to be on everybody, but it's going to be on me.
Yep.
The advertisement on the board behind the net was a Dunkin' Donuts advertisement.
Yeah.
And if you pause the video at the right spot, it looks like I am reaching for the Dunkin' Donuts advertisement while they are taking a full one-timer into the net. So the caption for the video is like, it's either like Fletcher going to Dunkin' or Fletcher, what's your order, or something like that. And basically he basically said like, I don't know what's really going on here. Fletcher's like ordering something from Dunkin' while they're taking a full one-timer into our net.
That is was that your guy or was it the center's guy?
I don't know what it was, but it was the center getting lost because he was the one who ripped it into our net.
Oh,
so
man.
that's a good story there in terms of getting lost in the ozone and me going to Dunkin' Donuts while I'm supposed to be defending.
The guy Houdini'd you. You got Houdini'd back there.
It was bad. I remember just being behind the net, watching the puck going in, and I'm like, I'm behind the net.
That might be That might be one of the worst feelings ever, where it's like you just messed up, and now you're watching them have like a wide open shot or like a back door, and you're like,
hey man, it looked like I could have sworn he was going there. He like kind of opened his hips. I was like, oh, there's my guy, and boom, back to the net. Minus.
That's what will happen with those type of players. That's what they do to you. Yeah, they expose you like that. It's not fun.
Eat that one. That's on me.
They were laughing at you in their video too. They had you up with the Dunkin' shirt.
Oh, they definitely had that. That probably goes down as the second worst video clip I ever had. There was one where we were playing Colgate, and I was playing good too, and I overhandled it at the blue line, like way over. I kind of got the winger to bite, got him to bite again, and then I tried going again, like tried to embarrass him kind of. And I fumbled it, and it went out of the zone. Nothing really happened, but it was just ridiculous that I tried that.
Yeah.
And the clip was Harry Potter. The clip was Harry Potter, and the caption was, "We do not need your wizardry, Fletcher."
It's in college.
Yeah, it's in college. I need your wizardry.
Just getting ripped apart.
Yeah, it's some tough video sessions. And so anyway, the bottom line of the story, don't lose your center. Centers get lost in that ozone, and you're going to have plenty of one-timers.
Do you have any other advice for centers? Because, I mean, at this point, like, because we went over wingers last week, and centers and wingers in the ozone are pretty interchangeable. There's a lot of movement. There's not really necessarily set positions in the ozone. But do you have anything else?
I would say commit to being hard to play against. Like, there's nothing better than knowing that you're up against a center who just kind of likes to make plays and like doesn't really like to get in the corners. But if you're playing against a hard-nosed center, like look at some guys who have success in the NHL, long-term success. Bergeron, Kopitar, Jamie Benn, who else? Kachuk. Guys who have a lot of success or just play a mean, hard game. And that doesn't mean you can't have skill at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, have a bunch of skill in the world, right? But commit to being hard to play against, right? Use your body, get to the dirty areas, and support the puck defensively, and you're going to be in a good spot.
Yeah, I think for in terms of centers, like you, out of any position on the ice, centers have to be the most complete player out there because you have to be able to play 200 feet all day. Like you have to be like for defensemen, once you kind of get it out of your zone and you get in the ozone, you kind of get a break, right? Like you can kind of stand at the blue line and you can kind of read the play, but like have a mental break almost. As a center, you are constantly on the go. You are constantly moving. You're constantly supporting the puck, whether you're in the D zone, neutral zone, or offensive zone, right? You have the most responsibility on that ice, I think, in terms of any position out there.
Yeah, and I would say be reliable, right?
Mm-hmm.
You want to be the guy to where when there's 7 seconds left and you're up by one and it's a D zone draw, you want to be that guy who they're like, hey, Fletch, Jack, like, go win that draw,
Yeah.
right? Yes, it's great to score the flashy goal. It's great to make the nice play, and you can do all of that.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, right, be that reliable center to where it's like, hey, my coach needs a draw with 7 seconds left to win the game, right? He knows that I'm out there and I'm able to eat a puck, I'm able to make a play, and I'm able to win a big draw at the same time, too.
Yeah, so it all circles back to when you started it off, you said above like 60% on draws.
Yeah.
If you want to be out in the last minute of the game, whether it's in your D zone or your offensive zone, if you want to be that guy, you want to be that center out there, you have to be a center that can win draws. Because if you're not a center that can win draws, they're most likely, I mean, maybe you're good enough where they'll put you as like a winger in that situation, but for the most part, like you're not going to be out there if you can't win the draw as a
It's an
center.
easy thing to
As
it's an
a
easy
center.
thing to practice. It's an
Oh
easy thing
yeah.
to practice too. Have a buddy drop you 15 pucks at the end of practice. It's more reps than you've gotten the whole practice, right? Try different things. Try to win it with your feet. Practice tying somebody up. Practice against righties. Practice against lefties. And here's a pet peeve that I have in terms of centers. I've heard this a lot, and it's not just coaching. I've heard it playing too. Is all of a sudden as a D right now I see my center on the wall and I see a winger taking the draw, and the excuse is, "Oh, well, I'm just not winning them today. I'm not winning them." That's not an excuse. That is not an excuse. If you are losing draws, right? The best part is it's over. Commit to winning the next one and turn that around, right?
Yeah.
Because guess what? That winger, he doesn't know all the responsibilities we've been talking about. He has been playing that a lot. But a lot of the times I hear, right? I'm not winning them. You take this one. It's like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, no, you're the center. Unless the coach has instructed that change,
Yeah.
let's stick with it. Let's turn it around. Say you've lost 7 in a row. You'd be amazed at how many faceoffs there are in a game. Sometimes 60 plus faceoffs in a game,
Yeah.
right? So let's turn that around. Let's get back to 50%. Let's try to get over that 60 mark, hopefully over 70.
Well, yeah, and especially like you just said, like even if you lose the draw, like you still have responsibilities,
Yeah.
regardless of the draw outcome. So it's like play your position, own that position. If you're struggling, take it upon yourself to work on that thing that you're struggling with to get better at it. Like you said, if you're
Oh,
losing draws, I mean, I love working on draws after practice. They're fun. Like make it a competition against other centers, or even work on it. You can work on it against anyone. Just work on your technique, what works, what doesn't, how to tie up correctly, how to use your body, especially if you can. A lot of centers don't use their body enough to tie
yeah.
guys up, to tie centers up. They just
Yeah.
stand there and they just try to like hook into their stick and they're not quick enough. And
I've seen some interesting tactics this year that maybe I think as a coach, I'm just paying more attention to it versus a player. I was more like, oh, I'm the
probably,
D. Like, if I win this, like, what am I going to do? But I've seen off that puck drop, right? Guys trying to smack the other team's stick out of the way and win it back. I've seen guys not even going for the puck, going to tie up and kick it back.
yeah,
I've seen guys talking to their wingers where that guy's going to tie up and one winger just comes in to get it. Like those are all little tools that it's not just about, okay, I'm a righty, I'm going to try to win it on my back end every time. Like there's
yeah.
way more to it.
Well,
So
and
try
like
it.
in terms of winning draws, it's not just on you to win draws. It's on all five of you out there, especially in the D zone. It's on all five of you. In the offensive zone, it's on you three in terms of wingers and center. So even you don't have to win every draw clean. You need to at least make it a 50-50 puck now that your guys can come in. And if you don't win that draw, that's not really on you. It's on other people as well. So not all draws fall just onto you if you don't win them.
Yeah, little pocket battle, a little pocket battle,
Yeah.
both sides, right? Those D and those wingers. Sometimes it's just wingers, right?
Mhm.
This is a team effort to win those draws. So
Yeah,
I don't know. I
absolutely.
think we covered some good stuff for centers. Talked
Mhm.
about winning draws, huge importance for a center, right?
Yep.
That's your opportunity to set the tone right away. Talked about supporting the puck in the D zone. Talked about being in the right place defensively and being hard to play against, getting lost in the ozone.
Yep, yep, and support the puck all over the ice. So I
Yep.
think that wraps it up for the hockey stuff. All right, so I want to get into this story. So I thought about it today, actually, I don't even know how I thought about this. Something about I was listening to a podcast and they were talking about movie theaters and whatever, and it just sparked my memory on this one thing that happened to me, and I think you were there. So I'll go through it here. So we were on when we were on Springfield, we went to Alaska in the winter. We went up there and
A couple times.
no, I thought we just no, you went the next year. We go once a year. I'm pretty
Okay, I
sure.
think I went twice one year, but okay.
Or maybe the next year you did.
Okay.
But so we went up there, and for people who don't know, when you go up to Alaska in the NA and you play Fairbanks and Kenai, you play them in. I don't know anymore now though because they got Anchorage, so who
Yeah.
knows how they do it now. But you go up there for 2 weeks at a time. Like you'll fly out on like I don't know, a Tuesday maybe, and you're up there for then you play 2 weekends. So you play like that Friday, Saturday, then you'll have the whole week, and then play the following Friday, Saturday. So you're up there for about week and a half, 2 weeks. So you got to do things to keep yourself entertained. So we were in Fairbanks, and since you don't have a bus up in Fairbanks, you actually take little minivans. Not minivans, they're like what are those? What are those type of
They're
vans
like
called?
they're like vans. They're like vans,
Yeah, it's
like
like the
white
ones that
vans.
yeah, it's like the ones that have like the three sections of seats, and so we since we had multiple of them, we coaches took different guys different places, and one of the options was go to a movie. So we went to a movie, and it was a war movie too. So I was already into it. Like I'm dialed into a war movie. Like some of my favorite movies, it fires me up a little bit. But there was this guy in front
Wait,
of
the
me.
guy twitching, like
Yeah,
twitching in front.
dude.
Yeah, I
Oh.
remember this. Yeah.
So I was sitting right at the last seat in the row, and there's a guy right in front of me by himself, and there's like 12 of us, I think, and he's by himself, and he has his hood up right in front of me, and he's fiddling in his pockets like the whole movie. And
What
I'm
was the movie? I don't remember the movie. I should. I remember this very vividly.
if I'm pretty sure it was a war movie. I'm almost positive it was because it was
Would it
like
have been?
it's not
I don't know. I don't know the movie.
1912.
It's not 1912, but it's like that. Hacksaw
Yeah.
Ridge? Could it have been
Oh,
Hacksaw
it
Ridge?
was Hacksaw Ridge for sure.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
good memory.
Yeah, that is good memory shit. So we were there in the movie theater, and I'm sitting in front of this guy, and I can't stop looking at him because he is fiddling in his pockets the whole time with his hood up. I had to leave, so I was selfish. I was selfish, and I just got up with like 30 minutes left in the movie, and I went and sat. I had to go pee, but then I went and sat outside and waited for the movie to get over because I
So you're
could
just gonna
not.
sacrifice me?
I know that's what people. I told them.
I remember this afterward. I remember
I
this.
told you guys after that I left because like this guy in front of me, they're like, everyone was like, "Are you kidding me? Like, you didn't tell me that this guy was what was going on." I was like, "No, I didn't want to freak you guys out." Like,
I would have been out there with you. You know, I would have. I
I
remember
know,
you saying this after the fact. I
yeah.
really do remember
Oh
that.
my dude, that was like one of the. I mean, I get scared about that shit quite often in certain areas, but that was one time where I was like convinced that something was gonna not good was gonna happen. Holy shit, that was
We do.
scary.
We've done some. We talk about team bonding. Like movies were always a favorite of mine to do. In college, we did John Wick. Remember? Do you know John Wick?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
movie.
yeah.
But we all dressed as John Wick, so we wore
Shut
our
up.
suits. We wore our suits, coach included. We wore our suits to the movie theater
No way.
for
That's
John Wick
hilarious.
3. We did. We used to do those dollar movies in Springfield. I remember, or
Yeah.
like it was like $5 students or something like
Mhm.
that.
What do you think, like, your favorite team bonding I guess maybe you could do activity or, like, you know how you do, like, those little, like, game type things, I guess, like, in
Yep.
preseason? What do you think, like, one was that you remember?
So we did my sophomore year of college. We had a group come into school called the program. It
Mhm.
was like a military, like ex SEALs kind of. They run it for sports teams, and like in the moment, I remember it being like really hard. But I look back on like what some things that I really enjoyed. Not that it, like brought us overly close, but I
Mhm.
just like enjoyed that couple days
Yeah.
of like you kind of battled as a group. Now on the more fun side, a team movie or a team kickball or something like that, where you're doing things that aren't hockey, I think is great.
Yeah, I love when you get outside of hockey and you do things. I think one thing oh, shoot, hold on.
We got a
Man.
lag. We got a little lag.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah,
Check,
that's
check.
better.
Check, check. Okay.
Gotcha.
Okay, I lost you on the video side, but we should be good, I think. I think it still records. But anywho, I think so one thing that we did every week in preseason that it sucked, but we would go 6 a.m. We all had to be at the rink, and we'd go on like this 2 mile run. Two like all 30 of us would go on this 2 mile run to this hill. Like out, it was a sick run though because we were running along the river of Milwaukee, like super scenic, like really pretty. But like it's 6 a.m. and we're going to bag ourselves. So we'd get to this hill and we would absolutely have battles like up these hills, like tons of different races and stuff. And it sucked doing it, but it was a really good. When you finished that, that was the best feeling in the world. You just
Oh
got
yeah.
through another day of just battling it out. But then you'd have to go to class right after. Holy shit, that sucked.
We used to do in the springtime. I just another free ad, but we used to do Orange Theory as a team
Oh
on
yeah.
Saturdays. And man, I'm gonna tell this story because nobody listening is gonna care, but we had an alumni weekend. Oh God, I don't know if I should say this. I'm going to. We had an alumni weekend. one like it was alumni weekend, whatever.
Yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, those
And
are fun weekends.
Orange Theory started at like 5:15. I think it was an
Oh,
early one.
in the spring, dude. In the spring.
Yeah,
Oh,
in the spring, and we had a guy show up and like showed up late. First of all,
yeah.
wearing like a golf shirt, golf pants, and dress shoes. The same like setup from the night before, and and like it could have gone one of two ways, where it was like, oh my God, like what is this guy doing? But sure enough, he walked right to the treadmill, took off the shirt, started swinging it in the air, and put that treadmill to 10 and started running in the dress shoes, and it fired the boys up. One of the best workouts over the 4 years was
No
due
way.
to that energy.
Oh,
Yeah.
dude, I remember. So I'll say this too. Like in college, like especially D3, like we in our going into our season, we still have like a lot of fun. We go out and stuff, and it's really fun. But oh no, this was in the spring actually. This would be in the spring. So we we would go out a bunch. Like we're in college, like we're there to have a good time at the same time as well as play hockey. And so we would go out, but we'd have workouts that Saturday morning at this gym, and guys would walk in every Saturday morning, like bloodshot eyes, still half in the bag, but the guys would be so fired, probably because they were still half in the bag,
Yeah.
including myself. But so, dude, guys would be so fired up, and the jokes flying around and stuff were some of the funniest times I've ever had. Like being with the team, working out and stuff, because we were all in the same boat that we were all just out like 4 hours, 5 hours ago, and now we're deadlifting like
Yeah.
five
No, I had
hours
some.
later. Like it's unreal.
It's
But,
cool, like thinking back on these stories. Like the team that I'm currently working with, we lost our playoff game over the weekend, so our season's
mhm.
over. So in as a coach now, watching those seniors post game, right? It's sad. Like a chapter in your life is closing, but another one is opening at the same time. And I
Yeah,
had a conversation with a couple guys today already, right? We're trying to figure out kind of what's the next steps. Am I going to play pro? Am I not going to play hockey? Right? Like this is why it's so important just to like enjoy the moment and what you're doing. Like it doesn't
yeah,
matter if you're the first line center and you have 100 goals, or if you haven't played a single game. If you're on a team, right, it's something
yeah,
special, and just enjoy and take in the memories. And you know what? If you're not the best in the gym one morning, that's okay. And if you're not the best on the ice, that's okay too. Like
yeah.
just enjoy what you're doing because it goes by fast.
Yeah, it sucks. Like you don't really realize it until after the fact. And it's not even right after the fact. It takes a little bit of time for it to actually sink in, cuz right after the fact you're like, "Oh, this is you're not usually you have your summer break and then whatever and then you come back." But now, your first year out, you don't come back. You just have
Yeah, you're
to.
doing something different.
Yeah, and you see the games online or you watch them. Like you went, I think, to Union Harvard. Like you
Yep.
go there and watch, and it's just like it's crazy that you were in that position last year, and now that is completely out of your life now, and you're on to something else for the better. But also at the same time, it does sting a little bit too.
Yeah, it was actually super cool. I snuck down. Jack just said snuck down to the Union Harvard game at Harvard on Friday night. I remember as a freshman on Union watching the ex-players come down post-game at that same game because we got a lot of alum in Boston. So now being one on the other side, it was actually pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
Got to say hi to all the boys, and they're prepping for their senior night this upcoming weekend.
Yeah.
So shout out to them.
Wow. I remember last story here. So when I was playing for Milwaukee School of Engineering, we had a lot of guys when I was like a freshman sophomore who lived in town. So they would come to all of our games. And the cool part about our rink is there's like two walkways on the side, so like right above the goalie nets. So there would be like 15 alumni sitting above the away goalie, just absolutely feeding into this kid for 3 periods straight. And then it was the best when you would look up and you would make eye contact with them. If like you had like an ozone draw over there, and they would be fired up that you guys made eye contact and stuff. Or
Dude,
like
I
if you
said
were battling in the corner, like right there, they would be going crazy. Like it was
they
awesome. That
they
was so
they
fun.
actually had pretty good fans Friday night. I mean,
Hmm.
Harvard doesn't get great fans usually, but they had a pretty good amount. And I made eye contact with one of my like a guy I played with
Yeah,
there. They were I probably shouldn't say this. They were down, but he
yeah.
looked at me, started smiling. It was good to see him.
Ah,
Like,
dude, that's the best. You can't replace
yeah,
those teammates ever. It is
yeah,
it is
exactly.
super cool and super fun. So, all right, we just ran down memory lane right there for a second. Shall we wrap up episode number 8 of the No One Told Me Hockey podcast?
Yeah, I think that wraps up number 8, little NBA. My flu game. I apologize for my nasally voice and my sniffles, but we are gonna continue. If you're watching on YouTube, that face Jack just made makes me want to punch him. But it was an enjoyable talk through some center responsibilities, a little memory lane.
Yep.
Um, and thank you for tuning in. Episode 8.
All right, I'll see you later. Get
All right,
better.
right on.
Sheesh, you sound terrible.
Flu game.